There we go. Let's take two of issue 128 of the Pitch Nerds, a weekly show where two nerds get things to work to bring you to the latest in nerdy news, reviews, and occasionally pitch things and talk rumors of stuff. I'm Cap, and always best friend, fellow nerd, and master fixer and baiter, Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty, how are you doing?
We're hoping it works. We're still using. If you were with us before, we were on the. I'm on the browser version of Discord. For some reason, it's not updating on my computer, but it got confused as to the audio. Even as I'm talking now, I'm terrified. But it's working still, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, you sound crisp. Oh my goodness, your okay. Raspy, frosty vocals just scratches out my heart.
Oh, thanks. I like being told that I have a raspy voice. I dig that.
I mean, you have a raspy gravel. It's just
we're gonna fly through some news real fast here. So just I'm gonna read it. We'll give our impression. We'll move on.
God, you're sexy.
Civil War is A24's first film to be #1 domestically for 2 weekends in a row. It is now A24's 5th highest grossing film of all time. So it's doing well. I want to see it. Do you want to see it?
So I want to see it. I actually, God, life has been happening, so I completely forgot this movie came out because I remember seeing the trailer for it and wanting to see it.
The answer is yes. Moving on.
Yes, moving on.
Like I said, we got to blow through this.
Yeah. Yes, moving on.
Sales for Fallout 4 has risen more than 7,500% since the release of the TV series. Funny they should say that. I immediately was like, I gotta play that again. Download it. You never answered my question. I texted you a question. You never got back to me.
Oh, what was it? Sorry, it's been a blur this week.
You probably didn't see it.
Yeah.
Okay. I bought Fallout 4 years ago when I lived with Cap, and he played it because we had two PS4, so he just played it downstairs using my account.
Yep.
You don't have to do that anymore, by the way. They allow you to, as long as one person owns the game. I have two PS5s here. My sister's boyfriend has one downstairs. He has access to my library because we're connected together.
Neat.
But he doesn't have to play on my accounts. Because remember, I had kept kicking you off. I guess it's PS5, so new generation.
Yeah. I don't have a PS5 yet.
Yeah. But when you were playing Fallout 4, you had so many of those. I assume somehow you were able to just walk around your base wearing your power armor. And I was watching you, and I was like, those are a finite resource, and they only last 30 minutes. How come? And you were like, I don't care. And how come you were able to just wander around your base in power armor and not worry about your fuel cells? I only put mine on when I know I need to Iron Man up.
That's funny. So, okay. You've also
I know you can increase it through science and all that, but go ahead.
So, you and I have also had the privilege of playing Minecraft together. You exposed me to Minecraft, and I have the Force. I can't explain my Force, how it works. I actually tried to scribble it out on paper earlier, but
are you just saying you found a lot of them?
So in Minecraft, because diamonds are a very precious, finite thing, and somehow I would just find a ton of them. I can't explain it. It's just a very, how Forrest Gump ended up shaking hands with JFK? Just call it a weird type of...
To be fair, I wasn't interested. I had you to do that. I was busy, building farms and machines.
Right. But, so, when it comes to games like this, just give me stuff. Let me go away. I might burn through some resources, but I will find some really cool shit.
You haven't answered my question. So, is the answer you just had a lot of them?
My answer is I just had a shit ton of them because I just Forrest Gump my way through games like this. Okay. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's
it's not hard. I don't even have to with Fallout. Just YouTube. Where are all they? I just didn't know there were so many of them.
Right.
Because it says that they're very scarce and there's a finite amount in the game.
But I just happened to find so many of them.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I don't. The math doesn't add up. I guess maybe if I knew I was not going to play the game long term, then I wouldn't care. But my impression is they put it in the game so that you had a finite resource, so you could run out eventually. I guess you could eventually buy it but like even then you can only buy it in small amounts. So,
yeah.
But knowing you now, I know you just been because you're one of those like I think like, oh shit, one day a year from now I won't have enough. You're just like, I don't care. And so now it all adds up. I just didn't know if you knew something I didn't, where like you could increase your power armor's life infinitely or something.
The answer the whole time has been Forrest Gump.
Okay, but yeah, no, you had a lot of them. That's easy enough to accomplish, especially in Fallout.
I just found them. I just in my adventures crawling around, I just find them. I don't know. It's just
no. I mean, I got like 3 or 4, and I've been playing it. But also, like me and you played these games differently,
right?
What the first thing I did was I have rebuilt Sanctuary. It's got a complete wall. It's got full power. I've got 40 things. I've got a massive base with spotlights and missile launchers. Nobody ever attacks me.
Right.
I want them to. Like, I also got like those cows. I've got a whole bunch of them. They like leave manure, and then I got people out getting supplies. I have built an empire in Sanctuary. And what's funny is, even though I have done this, I know because I've played the game. That's not even the best spot. That's just the first spot.
Right.
I just can't help myself. As soon as they're like, here's your building mode, I'm like, okay. I'm thinking a base that goes like this. Then I have rotating thing. You know what I mean? Right. I can't help. I've got like power lines throughout the whole town and stuff. I've got like towers set up with gunmen to protect it. Anyway, we're gonna go for it. Angus Cloud completed all his scenes in Abigail. I haven't heard of this movie, Abigail, just weeks before his tragic passing. That is very sad.
Is that Abigail based off the doll?
No, I think it's a vampire movie. Now playing in theaters. Abigail is Radio Silence's most bloody film yet, filled with exploding vampires and tons of gore. Ooh. I want to see that.
Okay.
That description right there, you shut up and take my money. You know, what it reminded me of though, do you remember speaking of Futurama, do you remember like where like Fry's in the theater, but he's got Lucy Lubot with him, and he's like, this movie has everything, a vampire and an explosion. He goes, blah. Like, that's exactly what they described. It really is.
Okay. You know what? It's my choice. Let's have that be our Behold Nerds.
It's in theaters. Right?
Oh darn. Boo.
Right. There's a new Office series coming out. I didn't know this. Did you watch The Office?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, so I watched it later. I think I watched it after it had finished, or it was still on as I started, but I was watching the rerun. But I get the gist of it. It was.
I watched it way later, and I loved it. Yeah, but apparently there's a new series. It's got the same people, it's set in the same universe, and it's not in a reboot. So it's just. I think it's going to be like another paper company,
just another Office.
Oh well, it does. I guess time will tell.
Yeah, the Milwaukee branch.
I do feel like I didn't like the last season so much that I didn't watch it.
Okay.
But yeah, you know when a show starts getting bad and then I feel it in my bones. I just don't want to watch the rest of it, like because I don't want it to ruin it.
Yeah.
Also, I have a hard time with characters doing stupid things that annoy me.
Yes.
And I have to turn it on. There's a show I was watching the other day, and a guy was going to get with a girl, and he just got mad about it. Mm-hmm. And he was fucking it up, and I was just like, no. Even though I like this show, certain things.
Right. You just said out loud my word-for-word feelings on all of Star Wars. Verbatim. You just said it. Yeah. That's my exact feeling towards Star Wars. Right there. You said it better than I ever could. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. This is interesting because I didn't really care about Furiosa when people were talking about it's kind of CG.
Yeah.
But this little update makes me go, was that just people because it's hard to like clear through all the crap.
Yeah.
But listen to this. Furiosa includes a 15-minute action sequence that took 78 days to shoot, with almost 200 stunt people working on it every day.
Wow.
It's the longest sequence any of us have ever shot.
That's fantastic. I love how... Okay, so...
I'm not saying it's good, but doesn't that maybe change your perspective a little?
Okay, so remember how back in the day we had action movies and the main characters were cool, but they were kind of boring and flat, and they were kind of stupid. But then there got to a point where you couldn't take action movies seriously, and now we're seeing this rebirth of the action movies where not only are we getting all the cool explodies, but we're getting cooler characters in with it. Because I like Furiosa. I thought it was cool.
No, Furiosa.
I thought all the characters were cool. Like it was just interesting. You know, this with the spray cans and everything. It was just fucking weird. But you know, it's
yeah.
If you're gonna go weird, go hard.
It was a cool. But didn't that sound like a cool scene though? Like, because I think last time you discussed this, we were like, this movie doesn't sound very good. Because someone was like, it's all CGI, and we were just like, oh, but the last one was. But the last,
that would take that would defeat the purpose of everything they accomplished in the first.
Yeah, one. But this little actual thing from the film itself makes me go like, no, maybe. I mean, I don't judge movies until they come out, but that does sound dope.
Right.
This is sad. Holy shit! When I read this, it like hurt my heart. I ready to be punched in the feels. What's his name? Giancarlo Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito. Yes.
Thank you. Well, you guys know him from Breaking Bad and what else? Mandalorian and various other things.
God,
he's a fantastic actor.
I have a crush on him and Idris Elba. Oh my God.
Well, get ready for me to hurt you. Says he was badly broke before Breaking Bad, contemplated arranging his own murder to make his make sure his children got his life insurance money.
Whoa, boy, does he go method acting, huh? God, that adds like a whole other layer to everything that he brings to the. Oh my God!
But that was before he got Breaking Bad. He was so poor. I kind of get it. I mean, like I'm super broke right now because I'm living on disability, and those drugs I'm taking. I mean, you saw the box; it's massive, and it costs so much money.
Yeah.
And I just see this future, and I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't even have kids. It's just me.
Right.
Anyway, but moving on from that, I just felt so bad when I read that. I was like, oh God.
But you know what though? It takes a certain kind of mind to think like that, and you can see how if you with that knowledge and see how he portrayed Gus in Breaking Bad, I can see now knowing that how he can he can channel that. How he channeled that into his performance. I mean, it's kind of a Walter White kind of thing in a way, kind of sort of. So you can. Good for him.
On to lighter news, Alien vs. Avengers is a new comic series from writer Jonathan Hickman and artist Esad Ribic, releasing on July 24th. So now me and that real super killer are talking about this, and he was like, what the hell? Like, this is so lopsided. It's Hickman writing it, so he gets Hickman's earned his. You can do what you want, sir. But I reminded him, what about when Superman fought Alien? I can't remember what he said. He was like, I prefer fights to be more balanced, and then he showed one to me, and it was just like ridiculous. It was like Predator versus like someone that would be destroyed by Predator or something like that.
Right.
But that's not the point of these. Like, they're just kind of fun, you know?
Right. It's fun to cross toys every once in a while.
Yeah. But I mean, what's an alien gonna do to Thor?
So you and I were talking because the cover shows Iron Man, Captain America, and Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel? What the fuck is Xenomorph gonna do to Captain Marvel? You know what would be cool is use Captain Marvel as the thing. She somehow gets impregnated and gives birth to like a super Xenomorph. That becomes like the super Xenomorph queen with Captain Marvel powers. That'd be cool as fuck.
Yeah.
And then that's what oh, I got this. And then what you do is, oh my God, Captain Marvel's dead. What are we going to do? There's this Xenomorph queen with the fucking... She's going binary. Oh my God, she's got the fucking mohawk and shit. Well, we have to now clone... Well, we have to clone another Captain Marvel. I mean, they cloned Ripley, didn't they? So clone Captain Marvel and have her be like a life model replica or whatever. And, just toy with that. And then have that go up against the Queen, who is I don't know. It's I don't know, better than Alien 4.
Oh, here is his reply. He said, "Guess I just prefer crossovers where they're evenly matched." And he did Lobo versus Mask. And I was like,
yeah, but Lobo
that's
was
a
just
joke. I mean, what is Lobo gonna do to the Mask?
wait till daytime.
That's the movie. He's talking about the comic book Mask.
Oh, okay. I want to read that comic.
He's got toon powers, and he can just do whatever he wants. He's unbeatable. Like, but it's still. I mean, again, the point is to have fun with those. So yeah. Right. Let's see what else. Okay. Quentin Tarantino has decided the movie Critic will no longer be his final film and has dropped the idea. He's now thinking about what his final film could be. Again, he has a stellar record. He's earned the rights to do what he wants. The movie Critic sounded cool. I trusted him to make it. But the fact that he started making it and went, this doesn't work, and then he decided I'll do something else, I respect that. The one thing that I think is weird is I guess he wants to go on top, but does it really have to be his final film? Like,
maybe the guy just knows when to stop. Maybe it's final for now, but
we decided a long time ago he was going to do 10 films or something.
Okay, but you know what? That's a personal goal, and he's knowing to retire.
I know. I get it. I'm sad. The last bit of news: Cynthia Williams has resigned as president of WotC and Hasbro.
Yeah, God. So Hasbro hasn't been selling toys lately, and it's weird.
It's more going to affect the WotC side. Because it's kind of funny. She's responsible for a lot of the changes with WotC recently. Like, and I don't want to get into whether they're good or bad, and I don't want to use the W word. But like the changes, like orcs aren't necessarily evil. And opening it so you can change your origin. So if you're an elf, you can play an elf as is, or you can just, I want to be an elf, but I want to be a strong elf.
Right.
You don't have to be the dexterous elf.
Right.
So she's allowing racial bonuses to be customized.
Right.
She made a lot of those changes to the game. And here's the thing: she's a non-gamer, and so they brought in a non-gamer to be president of WotC. And some people like those decisions, and some people didn't. I got confused because someone posted someone talking about this, and then Elon Musk's robot thing.
Did it trigger Elon?
No, his Gawk thing on Twitter, his AI, picked up all these people making jokes, took it as real, and then a website reported that without saying whether or not it was real. And then I read the website, and I posted it, and I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. As soon as someone said to me, like, what's your source? I was like, oh, yeah. And then I went, I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. And then he was like, yeah, you got to be careful. I was like, yeah, dude, I understand. I totally admit I got it wrong. Because what it was is people were posting stuff like going like, oh, I'm the president. Because people have been talking about wheelchairs in D&D lately. And they're like, I'm going to ban those at dungeon entrances. That's the thing that should have flipped off my sensors. Because, like, that doesn't make sense. How do you tell players to do that?
Right.
But the thing that I thought they were serious, they were talking about bringing back THACO. Which is,
what's
like, why? Oh, it's a what's those things where it's like IBM is International Businessmen or whatever.
Yeah.
Machine.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Okay.
I can't even remember what it stands for.
All right.
But it's to calculate your armor class.
Okay.
It's a really convoluted thing.
Right.
It's from a long time ago in D&D. I used to use it. But I was a kid and I struggled to understand armor and how it worked. I was little.
Right.
This new system would just make sense.
Right.
It's like, because it was like, you had to like do this calculation. You had to do hard math.
Right.
I guess some people are calling me stupid right now, which maybe you're right. It's been a long time.
But you know what? Streamlining the math to be more palatable for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because my brain hates math. You know how hard it is
especially when it's a big game like D&D where you're trying to learn everything.
Right. It's already a slow game to begin with, with having to roll and then having to calculate shit. Just make it easy. Just make it easy.
Here's what I knew.
Right.
Here's what I knew. I could put on armor, and I could ask my friend, "Hey, like, what's my? Just put on heavier armor, right? Yeah, just bigger, like thicker armor." And he'd be like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What's the math?" And like, "Okay, that's my armor class guy." Anyway,
you don't have to do fractions anymore.
All right, so let's jump on to things. Let's talk about the big thing, Rebel Moon.
Oh yes,
this
is our behold, nerds.
Come on, I deserve a little laugh for that joke. The snore giver. I thought of that. And I was like, ha, that's clever.
All right, it's funny. Sorry, I heard it, but you were mid like grumbles, so it didn't register yet. So yeah, I stayed awake for this one. This is a better movie than Taxi or The Last Jedi. Absolutely.
Wait. Which Taxi? The
Oh, either one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the other one.
I mean, the other one
I would
was,
rather watch that.
The other one was good, but anyways, so we're jumping into.
No, that's just opinion. I just didn't know where you stood. I was interested.
Oh yeah. Both of them are terrible. Just the original one is better.
Really? I see. I didn't know you hated it. I thought you gave the other one a you got to do.
No, so I gave it a. I was able to pull a Frosty and detach it into pieces, and I was able to take the palatable nums and go, those are some really tasty nums.
I enjoyed it.
But then, what's this other crap? Why is this reminding me so much of that fucking movie that everybody seems to like that I absolutely hate? Fifth Element. Why does it keep reminding me of the Fifth Element?
I liked it, but anyway.
So
back to Rebel Moon Part 2, the Snore Giver. No, okay. So here's my thoughts on it, and we kind of had this discussion before. Okay, so it starts, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this, and then I was before it started, I text you guys, and I'm like, I better watch the first one. So I remember it happened, and I used that like GIF of like J. Jonah Jameson. Like, and then, I put it on, but then I kind of felt like an idiot because immediately they're talking about that child with the light in her, and I'm like, oh, yeah, something about that.
Yeah.
And then, so I was like, maybe I could see someone like a Snyder fan and not so high and mighty now, are you?
Right.
Like, yes, you have humbled me. Yes, I agree.
Well, at least we had a little bit of we had an exposition in the beginning with a.
We did, and I actually had to play it a couple of times because I don't know, my brain just kept going like nachos are good.
Don't ask me to recall the names of anybody from this movie ever. Nemesis, that's one. I liked her. She stood out. Everybody else is just boring white noise. Well,
anyway, so we get to the movie, it's going, and I'm kind of like making fun of it a little bit, and I'm having a good time.
Right.
And then I realize okay, I should probably watch it. So then I start watching it, and I'm just like, okay, that guy's kind of cool. Yeah, okay. I'm starting to feel the vibe. I'm like, you know what? Maybe.
Right.
And I started to do this. I went like, maybe what he did was he spent the whole first movie doing setup and then released this movie. It still means he made a bad first movie,
right?
But I can understand it from a point of view. It should have just been one movie.
Right.
But then, as soon as they get to a character, they're like they come up to another character and they're like,
exposition.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, it'd be like, hey, how's it going? Like, thousands of years ago, before Sigourney Weaver, I survived the quickening of the Dragonites, and I'm just like. And then it just keeps
going. Doing that. God, the worst was the scene where the gladiator guy, the general. Right? Oh my God, he even sits down. He even says like the most generic, like, "Okay, it's time we go around the table and get to know who we are." I'm like, no.
Yeah. I make fun of that in D&D sometimes when I'm a player character.
Right.
As soon as we sit down at a bar together, I'm like, let's all tell each other our tragic backstories. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
But
so okay, so the whole movie. All right. Okay, so Star Wars does a thing. Star Wars does a thing where it shows, it doesn't tell. Luke is a farm boy. He's a water farmer. What's a water farmer? You have vaporizers. How do they harvest a vaporizer? Well, I don't know. There's seasons, I guess, so it harvests the moisture. I want to go.
The greater,
but we have droids to help with this. So Star Wars beautifully paints a universe without. Okay, 1,000 years ago,
No. Here's the that you've. I mean, that's essentially the point.
Right.
It's like Cap is writing his own universe right now. But if you were to write a story about your universe,
right,
you wouldn't just sit there and you're right now you're writing your Bible, and I think that's where Snyder got it wrong. He tried to insert his Bible into his movie.
Right.
Through
right.
You know what? Again, this film reminds me of, and I think I said this about the first film.
Mm-hmm.
It's like walking into a really cool art show, right, and you get all these images, and you're like, dude, that looks fucking dope,
right,
and you're like, and then maybe there's even a description of the story behind it,
right,
and you're just like, wow, that sounds really cool, and then you move to the next one and you do the same. You see this in Mortal Kombat, all those characters,
that's a good way to phrase it.
And then there's a fight in Mortal Kombat, right? And it works in that medium.
Yes.
It 100% works. But in film, it does not. And that's what this movie is. It's Mortal Kombat. And that's my problem with it.
So, so this...
all of that, it is gorgeous. Okay, here's the thing. My brain kept checking out.
Yes.
And I go, but every time my brain returned and I had to force myself to do it, I was like, oh, fucking look at that. Holy shit, that's fucking cool. Right. It's just so it was gorgeous.
Right.
It missed that part of the movie. It was lifeless.
Right. So this, if you were to remove the stylized slow-mo, this could have been one movie. It would have been a long movie. Yeah. It would have been a long movie, but it could have been a better movie if he learned how to show and not tell. Just, I was hoping, this season we can hire some new droids and I'd be able to go off planet. Oh, harvest when I need you most. There's ways to build universe or dialogue, and okay. So here's what I did. So the backstory behind this is that this was originally going to be a Star Wars movie, and when it was turned down, he said, "Fine, I'll just make my own universe." And I think the reason why I liked this movie better than the first, I mean, it is a better movie than the first one, objectively, but I was able to turn on my Star Wars brain and watch it through a Star Wars lens and see the characters and see the universe. Oh shit, they're going up against a Star Destroyer? Holy fuck. Like, we've never seen, and I mentioned this in the nerd chat, we've never seen like a Star Destroyer, like the power of one Star Destroyer against a planet. Like, they're terrifying. Just one can conquer a planet because they're just so, there's just, garrisons of all these things. So for a town, just this lonely little farm town to go up against a Star Destroyer? Holy shit, I'm sold. That's a cool fucking idea. So,
in terms of just watching awesome action,
right,
it sells itself.
Right.
I fucking love. Every time I was watching something, I was just like, that is fucking cool looking. Like and yes, it had an overusage of slow motion. I 100% agree. It's
so bad.
He needs to use it to hype certain things and then not other things. And I don't know. It's
his thing.
It is what it is. But I mean, but I still, even that I thought wasn't as bad as last time. Like, because there were some sequences that I really enjoyed, like when Druid Bot shows up.
Yeah.
And, like, I was just like, this is the sickest thing ever.
Right.
And, like, and so there was a lot to love in this movie. I thought the chick up on the thing, fighting her way through the base, that was cool. But it was like, like they're standing on the planet, and then the guy kisses her or she kisses him, and I'm like, there were a couple. Did I miss when did that happen? You know, like, and I'm guessing maybe it did happen in the first movie.
They hinted at it, kind of.
But that's my point. I didn't even notice. It was like, you know, like it was a look. I will give this movie a you got to do what you got to do because I genuinely had a good time. I think it could be a shut up and take my money. I just think it's kind of like when Lucas was given creative freedom on the first one, on the prequels, and it kind of went off the rails. And so, like, you can have, like, Zack Snyder reminds me of him. Like, he's great, but you just need people to rein him in a little bit. And I don't mean, like, he gave an interview recently saying, like, you know, I don't. You either go with me or you go with focus groups. No, dude. There's a middle ground. You work with other artists and who aren't afraid to tell you no.
Right.
And I mean, but that's cool. That's fine.
That's what made the first Star Wars perfect. Is that Lucas had people over his shoulder. God, Carrie Fisher didn't even go to Lucas because the dialogue was so bad. So
I don't know if it needs to be that bad, but like, okay, I attribute to like in design school, you design something, you put it up, and then people critique.
Right.
Critiques are brutal.
Right.
And but the thing is, you get better because of it. And that's what I mean. You almost need to. He's a good artist. He just needs someone to critique him.
Okay.
And I mean, he needs to listen.
Okay. So, meanwhile, I am watching this. A Star Destroyer is descending on this planet. There's a high priority target down below that has vital intel that they want executed. Town goes and gets a bunch of heroes, Scourge to come and help protect them. Dirty Dozen. Boom, there's a setup. But fucking Forlom shows up. Forlom is going to be Anthony Hopkins' bot because Forlom needs some fucking love. He's the one that shows up, and he's the one who, there was fucking Zuckuss. No, they want the target for the Hutts, so it's like, all right, well, we need to help them fight off these things, but then once we're done fighting off these things, we're going after you. So they're fighting off, and then the ATSTs are coming, and you know, because that's how the Star Destroyers work. They deploy in garrison. So here's the first wave, and then you have the next wave. It's just there's a battle progression. When we saw that with the Battle of Hoth, that's how they operate. We saw this. How you show the universe. So that's Star Wars. So I'm watching Star Wars, Frosty. I'm watching Star Wars, and
they're using Star Wars.
And then at the end, Forlom, they think they won, and then Forlom all of a sudden, bam, gets the fucking target and throws her in the fucking missed one, and they go back to whatever hut, and it's a Zuckuss and Forlom story.
That's what I mean. Like, can you imagine though if he, like, he was 100% right when he went to Star Wars and said, "I want to make the Star Wars movie, man. I don't want it to be about any of that shit."
Right.
You know, the Jedi's and all that.
Right.
And like, and so, but that's what he just needed to have
he needed a canvas. He needed an existing canvas to work.
Yeah, with. But that's okay. Look here. I do want to say. A lot of people love this movie, and I think it's just a mindset thing because this is not. I have to say, I'm giving all this like harsh criticism, and I don't think it's fair because it is fair, but it's because I enjoy something else. If you're like the kind of person that like you love flashbacks and like anime does a lot of this, you know what I mean? Anime introduces a character and you have lots of backstory and. If you're into this, and it seems like a lot of you are, I don't want to take anything away. If this is your shut up and take my money, respect. I just want to like it's just for me. I got to give it a you got to do what you got to do because it's just not what I'm into. But I admire it.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Okay, so my brain has this thing. You know how you can have like augment reality like Pokemon Go and you can hold the phone at the table and you see a Pikachu. My brain can do that, and my brain did that with this movie, and it just overlaid the Star Wars filter, and it was the greatest
I
movie.
get you.
And for that alone, because I had a template to work with, I fucking love this movie. I love this movie with the Star Wars filter. Without the Star Wars filter, it was okay. It was whatever.
No, I get you made it like a better movie by imagining your own shit,
right?
And
then the X-Wing showed up. Oh my god, that's cool.
But it's kind of a good movie for that because it's like even if you don't go total Star Wars and you go into his universe,
right?
Because it is just a canvas for a viewer to kind of create their own story,
right?
You know what I mean, like and do their own thing.
So the reason why I like Nemesis the most is, I mean, clearly she was supposed to be some type of Sith wielder, an Inquisitor, whatever they call themselves now, but to hear that she was never that, but she was a descendant of, and she had this, you know, this heirloom, you know, Sith lightsaber. I thought that was interesting. I like that she had to slice her arms off and do the robot bits. That's sort of Sith symbolic in a way. There needs to be that sort of, you know, pain in order to become the thing. So I thought that was the coolest fuck character. I thought that was... oh, my Star Wars brain loved that. My Star Wars brain loved that. It's so...
No, I don't fault the concept. I just think it needs the heart.
So here's one weird little detail that my brain liked about this movie, and it was a quick thing. It was a show don't tell. So hero character, whatever her name was, when she's running through the ship, and they have their version of lightsabers, and she gets a hold of one, but she burns her hand.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
Right. Just so okay, and then you see her trying to like, oh, ow, like she uses it, and then she realizes, ow, it's hurting me, and she has to wrap her hand like, oh my god, there you go, movie, there you go, attaboy.
I think she knew that about it. It was just she was in the moment of fighting.
Right. It was that adrenaline moment, and then once it subsided.
I love those characters that are like I like her character because I remember playing D&D once. And I stole the line from like a Justice League thing, but nobody in my D&D group knows anything about superheroes. So they just thought I sounded badass. And like I was playing a monk, and I didn't carry any weapons. I'm a ninja monk, and and we were like everybody was like puffing up their chests and talking about how badass they are. I was like, see the difference between me and you? You use a weapon. I am the weapon.
Ooh.
He is the weapon.
Dice drop.
I mean? Like...
Dice drop. Oh man, but
she's that's her character, and I dig that. And then you know my favorite scene in this movie. This is the part where if this is the heart of this is the one scene where I say, you know what, shut me up because they got it, they nailed it. It was perfect. And see, this is what I mean. This is about all you need. And again, I guess it's a show don't tell moment because it's happening. We're watching it happen when they're in the bar together and they start handing out those fucking like whatever they are, the tunics or something, or like flags.
Yeah.
Coat of arms.
Yeah.
And she's handing it, and she's like telling the story about it. Like she's like you were the whatever, and like
the story
and then
of
it
the
gets
heroes.
to like and then she's like you were the heart, and each time I was like, oh man, this is good. I just love those moments.
Right.
I thought that was so well executed, and then when she gets to the main character, and she's like you're the wolf, you know, she's like you're out with your teeth bared, and you're our protector. You stand between us and annihilation. And I was just like, like, you know what I mean? It just hits you in the heart.
Right.
So it did have it. It just needed more of that.
I feel like you could have had that entire scene and maybe added a couple more sentences. If you were to take all the exposition with all the characters and just condense that into that one scene where she's handing out the things, that's all you need. She's the story. She's the one who's telling the legend of these people. Here's her crest, here's her symbol.
Well, like imagine even if you just cut down on the exposition, like in the first film.
Yeah.
When they're like, when you're coming up to him, you do it more like, and I like in Suicide Squad, where you're like, yeah, we're coming to pick up blah blah blah. Yeah. He's this, he's this, he's this. No, and it's like showing little cuts of him as she's walking up. Like you could do that, and like I've just like cut all of that crap out into like one scene.
Okay.
And then
remember in RoboCop when we're introduced to um, Lois for the first time. It's like, oh, we get to go see your partner, and she's just beating the shit out of a dude in the waiting room. There you go. She's a bad. There you go.
See, again, this is where I do defer to people that dug it, because if you're into those scenes, again, it's like watching Mortal Kombat. Like you look at it. It does look cool, so I get it. Anyway, let's move on. But yeah, I think we give it a review. So it's a you got to do what you got to do for me. What's yours?
Yeah, it's a shut up and take my money. If you take a handful of these and sit down with a nice warm cup of coffee and just put the Star Wars overlay over it and pretend that it's a Forlom adventure. I want Forlom to get some love. God damn it! It all started with fellow nerd Adrian posting the sticker of Zuckuss. It's like, huh, that guy's cool. Like, how come we don't get Zuckuss and Forlom? Forlom is cool. I do think it would be a fun buddy movie too.
Right. I would like watching it with you.
We should come up with a buddy Forlom and Zuckuss movie.
No, I mean, I would enjoy sitting down and watching it with you.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Well, let's move on because we are short on time because we started late. We had the Transformers 1 trailer. What did you think of that?
Do we need this?
I was fine with it.
I guess. I guess. So
wait.
Okay.
Let me just say one thing. Fellow nerd Rob, creator of White Owl, he's got a new comic coming out. Faint. Sorry, Rob. I'll post it on Twitter afterwards. It's his new horror comic. You should check it out. Yeah, he's been on our show before. But he said, hang on, dude.
No, you're good.
No, he said this is a great movie to watch with his kids.
Okay.
And he's looking forward to it. And then as soon as he said that, I was like, and I watched the trailer. I was like, I could see if you had a young kid.
Yeah,
you could be like, check it out, Transformers.
Yeah,
because it's real Transformers, but it's made for kids.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Transformers mythos is kind of inconsistent, but usually the consensus is. You had Orion Pax, who was Optimus Prime, precursor, and then God, I forget what Megatron, what his name was, but Megatron.
This is why I love you, because you just went well, I get that, but nerd. I respect that.
Anyways, so watching this movie, it has almost like a Kung Fu Panda kind of silliness vibe to it, kind of sorta.
That's what I mean.
It's Megatron before the genocide. Oh, okay, cool. Yes,
you put it like that.
Yes.
You make it sound bad. Well, anyway, I'd watch it. I suppose
I'm gonna watch the show. I'm gonna see Megatron fail out of art school.
Okay, there we go. Anyway, X-Men 97.
Oh my God!
Life Death Part 2. So this starts, and as soon as it starts, I'm like, holy shit, Cap's gonna enjoy this. This is like Cap's bread and butter in the Marvel universe. As soon as it goes sci-fi, he's like, hell yeah, and
leave the ladle.
And so I was like, oh, he's gonna be enjoying this. My favorite part of this opening scene. Not so much the opening. I mean, it was all cool,
right?
And I can comment on just about it because this show is stellar.
Yeah, oh my God, it's so good.
I don't know why it was my favorite part. Two bits stuck out to me. Deathbird, just being overly dramatic, she's like "Queen ching ching," and it's like, whoa, calm down, lady. And then Gladiator.
Okay.
She lunges at, and then she goes, and it does nothing. Just goes, buh. Yeah.
So. It has been a long time since my brain has visited the Shi'ar Empire, so I had to sort of pop the clutch because I was like, oh my God, I know all these characters, but I forget their names. But
holy, started you with the Kree.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, Ronan is there, but oh my God, we got to see fucking Gladiator. Now, Gladiator is like Marvel's Superman, but he's got complex. But we got to see him as with Superman powers, but not standing apart as Superman. But yeah, I mean. He's standing there.
He is a Superman in Marvel for sure.
Right.
But I'm sorry I rolled my eyes. It's just there are more Superman men.
Well, I know there are, but for this,
but you're right.
He is the Superman.
1,000% right.
But when she went to go throw the punch, and all of a sudden, boom! There's Gladiator right there. Like, holy shit! Yeah, holy shit!
Real fast.
Yeah, we can see Gladiator with the laser vision.
Wait, real fast. I did exactly what you did with Transformers. I went, well, yes, but nerd. But go on.
So, oh my god, it was cool to see Gladiator just having some fun. I feel like we haven't really seen him depicted much. So
the one part that didn't make sense to me is what's her name? Deathbird jumps on Lilandra, and then Gladiator's like, rather than turning around to protect his Empress, there's all the guys coming at him, and he flies and knocks him off the bridge, and it's like, what? Go back to Lilandra. She's got someone literally on top of her.
She was fine. She was fine.
I guess. I'm not a Shi'ar captain of the guard or whatever, so what do I know? I just that's me as an amateur. That was my critique on his guardsmanship skills.
That's fine.
I also thought like it was weird, like rather than just quietly marrying Xavier, she's like meet your new emperor.
Like, you know how Dr. Robotnik comes out of every Sonic battle?
Evil coming out.
Right. Yeah, so Xavier's alive. Yay. You called it.
Well, we knew he was alive.
Yeah. So we are catching up with him. My goodness gracious. So he is going to marry, my goodness, what's her name?
Lilandra.
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 But he is human. He is inferior, so he has to prove himself. Essentially, they say, well, if you're willing to forego all of your knowledge, all of your memories.
I think, pause briefly. We're probably going to end up kicking Battle Nerds back another week. Sorry, guys.
That's fine.
Late start. But I want to give X-Men 97 its due time, so continue.
It's so good. So anyways, Xavier and Empress Alondra are planning to be married, but everybody has an issue with it. So it's pretty much, hey, you do this, but you need to forget everything about Earth. And then...
Did you catch when she's like... I mean, it was the perfect, what, really? You?
Right.
Like, when they're arguing... It's not even an argument, but she's, talking to him. She's like, if you go back to your kids, you're just going to get sucked into more of their drama. And it's like, oh, really? Your freaking... brother was the evil emperor that nearly destroyed the universe. I had to come save your ass. Right. And seconds after we get married, your sister's trying to overthrow and make me cease to be me. Right. You're saying that I have drama. I mean, they're both that.
Right.
It's the most pot calling the kettle black situation I've ever seen.
Right. So. My goodness, what else happened? I mean, they reveal at the end. Oh,
so she has to he has to choose to wipe his mind.
Yeah,
and then I can't remember when it happens, but then he says, and then everybody gets into a fight. Gladiator does his cool stuff, and then we see he takes them all, uses his mind powers and takes them all into school.
Yeah, it takes them to school, which I thought was great.
I guess I was kind of annoyed by it because if that happened to me, I would be like, "Oh man, I hate you so much right now." Why did you have to with the board and me and then you just put an apple in her mouth? I would feel so I get you're more powerful than me. You do not need to flex that hard at me, dude.
Right.
Just pull me in, okay? I mean, I get, but anyway. So we see him teach them a lesson, and then he sees dead Gambit, and then the things, and then he pops out of it, And like Lilandra's like, he's like, I gotta go to Earth, and Lilandra's like, you're proving my sister right. He's like, if that ends our relationship, I'm sorry, I can't let them die.
Right.
And so, and then he bounces, which I think is reasonable.
Yeah, that's a reasonable thing. God, he should show up with the fucking fleet. My God.
I get why he can't though, because then it puts his sister. So I get that they just have to part ways,
right?
Or if that's how it has to be, it has to be that way. So
right,
it sucks, but that's life sometimes.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so then we come back to
Storm and Forge.
Storm Forge story,
right?
Did you notice the Zack Snyder nod?
Maybe, but I mean,
the bit where Storm gets her powers back, and she takes flight.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost not shot for shot, but it's a nod to Man of Steel's first flight.
Okay.
Scene.
Okay.
Which, I mean, that's kind of what we were talking about before. Like, that was a dope scene.
Right.
This was a dope scene. Like,
right.
I mean,
God, I've always loved Storm. Just she feels like raw, like she's nature. She's a force. She's.
Well, yeah, she's a goddess.
Right. Oh, I've always loved her character. I could have easily Googled this, but I enjoy asking you directly because it just perpetuates the nerd conversation. It's been so long since I've visited the X-Men, I completely forgot what Forge's power is. What is Forge's power?
Oh, he can understand any machine and fix any machine. Okay. Any machine he comes up to and touches,
right?
He can like understand it and he can fix it. So his power is he can fix anything.
Interesting. Okay.
And then like he's creative too, and I think because he can like he can't necessarily make it can't he's I don't really get it because his power is he can fix anything, but he can make his own tech.
Okay.
And so like in the comics, like this same story sort of happened. It's a little different. But instead of it being out there, he's in like a penthouse, and like she gets mad at him because he can live amongst the humans just because he's like rich. Yeah, she's like, you live in this tower apart from everybody, you know. And
that seems like a very incognito power to have. Like I feel like you could live a comfortable life with that power. Like if I were a mutant, like I love that power. I could put that.
I mean, you still had the robot hand or something and leg, but you just put clothes over it.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, just a prosthetic. My goodness gracious, people have prosthetics. Don't judge me. It's a prosthetic.
Yeah, it's a super advanced robot prosthetic, but true.
Yeah.
You are rich, so you could explain it.
Right.
I mean, like you're a billionaire, so yeah.
It's like
I have a tech company.
Right. What mutant power?
Like, yeah, that's true. Yeah. It is tech based, so it is hard to argue against, especially in that universe, which is very sci-fi.
Right.
So yeah, like.
And he's Native American, which is cool.
What?
He's Native American too, right?
Yeah. So that's where this story picks up. So that's where they change it, but that is a character from Marvel. It's what's it called? The oh, they say it in the movie. The enemy or something. The adversary. Is that it? Yeah. The adversary, and basically it like feeds on their fear. So we got this like story, and it's all about Storm realizing that it's not just like her that ray that hit her that suppressed her powers is her own like fears.
It's herself. Yes.
Yeah, and then like the power is inside her all along.
That thing is scary as fuck.
My goddess. And so cool. Storm is so cool.
I fucking love Storm. She
jumped back to her. She had the long hair again.
Yes.
And she jumped back to her 1975 costume. And people were like, okay, I had a conversation about this, and it was funny because I realized like, you know what, I'm being an asshole. And I even said this on Twitter with someone. Someone was like, they were like, you know, and they went nerd, and they were like, it makes sense that Storm could do this, right? And I was like, make an outfit, and I was like, well, yeah, it does, because she did it in the very first episode, you know, like she has the power to change like stuff around her, like on a molecular level. Yeah. And so you see it like when she's in the mall, she goes,
Yeah.
And then so I was like, but I posted like, I'm searching for all the fucks I don't care, because I didn't care about the explanation though.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just accepted it.
Right.
Like it didn't matter. But then I was like, you know what? No, you're right. It is fun to do what you're doing, so I respect it. But she posted a comic.
She has anime metamorphosis mutant power.
Yeah, but she posted a comic book where she's talking about it. It is even in the comics too, so it's just an interesting thing about it.
Interesting.
I assume you like the new look, or I mean the not new look, the old look.
Well, the old new look, yes. I've always liked flowy, just gale force storm. She just.
You like the 75 outfit though?
Yeah. Love it. Oh god, she's back. Storm's back, and then Xavier's going back to Earth. All the pieces are coming together. Like all the big hitters are going to start coming back together. That's what's happening.
Sadly, no damage.
Right. I mean, the big hitters are just and there's two Jean Greys.
The final bit of the episode was we might actually have time for both. The final bit of the episode is we had Sinister show up. So this was interesting.
I wasn't expecting him to show up.
Well, that was one theory. It could be Sinister, and so I was like, okay, so that's where they're going, because I was expecting Cassandra Nova,
right?
But they didn't even do Donald Trask. They went with Bolivar Trask. But it's the same story. It's just they switched the villain to Sinister. And so but I kind of like that. Now they're doing their own thing a little bit, and everything they've done is amazing. And so we'll see where it goes. Who knows? I think we're in the last 3 run, which is one complete. Like it's told into 3 parts, but it's one 3-part story.
Right.
Is how they're ending it.
Right.
Which I'm sad, but like I know, but like I understand, but you can't do that anymore.
I know.
This is the format. And so they worked within the format, right?
Right.
Because they're finishing on a 3-parter. It's just get ready, guys. Like I mean, that's all I can think. Like I hope, I mean, look, could I be wrong?
Yes.
I'm never gonna, because sometimes life just disappoints.
Right.
But so far, everything has been stellar, and ending on a 3-parter. Just this is so shut up and take my money. Best stuff in comics right now, and I just I cannot wait. Every Wednesday, my family's getting sick of it. To my family group chat, I'm like, it's Wednesday, and then it's like, I don't even care.
I care. It's so good. Shut up and take my money. 8,000%. All the Storm is back, and Xavier's coming back. They're coming back, and then the big it's coming. Anyways, we have time for Battle Nerds. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Here, you announce it. Let me pull up some things. Here, you explain. Let me pull up a couple things.
Okay. Battle Nerds is our weekly show, usually weekly. Now we take 2 random characters, we pit them against each other in a versus battle. It's completely random. The goal is for you to come up with a convincing argument as to why your character could win in battle, and fights can be hilariously lopsided. Air Bud versus Godzilla.
Air Bud should have won that fucking fight. Y'all wrong.
Trump is very Air Bud, Team Air Bud.
Y'all wrong.
I personally I had to argue Godzilla, but I do think Godzilla takes it. But anyway, so we have Vader versus Dread. Oh, also, real fast while we're talking about it, I did come up with an idea. Cap and I were tossing around. I posted on Twitter. A couple of you guys said you like it, but let me know. We were thinking about doing like a little 4-minute YouTube video where like we shorten it. Cap records his bit, I record my bit, so we have cleaner audio, and then we just put it together. It's super simple art, but something for you guys to look at, and just these little versus battles, which are usually narrative driven, which is I think why ours are unique. And let us know if you think that's a cool idea, if you'd like to see that. So I got Vader, you got Dread.
Oh my God.
So why do you think Dread?
So really quick, we do get to choose our version. So
choose versions, yeah.
What version of the Dark Lord are you going with?
I mean, the only one I really come comfortable knowing is like the one from the movies. But I mean, I guess I'm slamming it together. Like
that's fine.
I feel like it's all one.
Yeah, it's one
Vader.
Character. Yeah, one Vader. I'm going with just comic book Dread.
I know there's probably more powerful, like I've seen in video games, like pulling down Star Destroyers, and I'm sure there's like books where. But I don't know that stuff comfortable enough to argue about it.
So I'm kind of the same with Dread, where I'm just gonna go with like the classic Dread. Like, if you were to just hand me an issue of who's Judge Dredd, here's Judge Dredd. My goodness gracious, I like him because he's got all of he's almost like RoboCop in a sense, where he's just got his arms.
RoboCop is inspired by the character Dredd.
Awesome.
They look alike.
Anyways, Judge...
They're both... The helmet always down, the gun.
Yep.
Like, think about it.
Hold on, let me pull it up really quick. So, Judge Dredd has an assortment of weapons, but one of which, his favorite, his trusty sidearm, the Lawgiver. It's cool. It's voice activated. I picture this...
You used to spin it back in the day. It was a disc.
Yeah. It's like a weird Flash Gordon looking gun. Like, remember those Viewmaster type things? It kind of looked like that. It was just silly looking. I think Star-Lord had kind of weird, kind of spinny guns like that too at one point, because he had like the elemental gun. But anyway, so I kind of see it breaking down like this. You have a Star Destroyer descends on what's the city, Mega City 1, and Vader's shuttle touches down, and Judge Dredd is there, unsanctioned, blah blah blah. What's this? Darth Vader says, submit to the Imperial Order or be destroyed, something to that effect. He's Darth Vader. Judge Dredd says, I am the law, fight. So, oh my God, Judge Dredd, armor-piercing round, boom, 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 just right into the chest panel. I think this is a really quick fight, because here's the thing. Darth Vader does have the Force. I don't even think he would necessarily draw his lightsaber right off the bat. There's no need to. He's Darth Vader. He wouldn't lead with that. But Darth Vader can deflect bolts, like laser bolts in Star Wars, but I don't think that he can deflect a bullet. That's the thing. Now, he has this essentially a weak spot on his chest where if it were a video game, that's where you'd want to hit. That's like the identifiable part that you want to shoot at. So I think, really quick, hey, armor-piercing round, boom, boom, boom. It's just Vader's down really quick. It's Dredd. He don't put up with shit. Here's a dude in a ventilator. He's going to take that shit out really quick. Frosty, you go.
I think Dredd walks up to Vader and he punches him in the face, and it goes through his face mask, and he cold cocks him
and throws him into
an ISO cube and throws him in, and like it's over.
Right.
Oh, wait, I have Vader. Shit, sorry. Okay. I don't know. Like, okay, so here's my argument. So you're saying Vader gets quick draw. I mean, Dredd does, but what's it? In the prequels, they state that a Jedi is like the reason that he's a human. I actually have a question about that, but that's another question. But he's a human that can pod race because he can see slightly into the future.
Okay.
And so he has Spider-Man power.
Okay.
And so like Spider-Man, he can dodge bullets.
Okay.
Vader, yes, he's got robot parts.
Okay.
So he's slower.
Okay.
But he's still got Spider-Man powers, so
Okay.
he goes, force move the bullet slightly to the side. Holy shit, this guy's not fucking around.
Okay.
Hits go both on his arm. Like,
okay.
Dread slow. It's like
right.
Snyder is filming this fight.
Okay.
and then Vader's like, and then the Dread's head just explodes. and that's how Vader, and Vader's just like, holy fuck, that was terrifying. And they get back on their little fucking Star Destroyer, and they're like, and they leave. Like, it's like they don't know. Like, what if that's just like, there's a lot of those guys down there,
right?
Like,
no, that's fantastic. Now, if I were to be representing Vader, if we could turn back to what we saw in Empire Strikes Back, where Han does a quick draw. Now, Han does have the quickest draw in the fucking galaxy, period. Fucking period. And he gets a couple shots of Vader. What does Vader do? And then yoink, that's mine. Now, how does Dredd respond? Now, Dredd has all sorts of toys. He's just got guns. Dredd is gun guy. Now, it's a matter of...
argue, right? Is what you're hearing right now.
This is a fun fight.
It's good. I think you can argue it any way you want.
Right, you really can. I mean, oh my goodness. Among
they have complete like okay, who is the more powerful character?
Vader.
Absolutely Vader.
Right.
But it's just like it kind of doesn't matter.
Right, because it's Dredd. Right.
And that's the problem, and that's where your brain kind of like clashes against these two.
Right.
I think this is one where I'm interested to know where people vote. I think it'll probably go Vader because
it's an obvious winner, but if you think about it on a nerd level, you can see how.
Although you never know with some of our fans, some people that actually watch this are like old dudes, and they're gonna. I mean, I guess they could go Vader too. But a lot of them
Would Vader and Judge Dredd, before the fight actually goes down, would they be able to have like a face-to-face? Because Vader will get in people's faces. And if Vader gets into Dredd's face, yeah, well, bam! Good night. It's that meme that Adrian posted. Hey, kids, want to see a dead body? Want to see a dead body? Vader's gone in an ISO cube. He's going to be stripped for parts. And it's going to be fleeced throughout... Mega City 1.
That is an interesting story. Holy shit. Is you do exactly what we just said.
Right.
Like this is like let's say a concept from Snyder's film, right?
Right.
The Rowan. Okay, and we do it like they get in each other's faces.
Right.
Because Clunk grabs him. Like maybe some storm. It's over at that point. And like you're coming with me, and then like the Vader wakes up, and now he's just the torso because they're taking everything else away except for keeps him alive. Right. And he's in an ISO cube. So now we have Vader rebuilding himself in Mega City 1.
Yes,
the Star Destroyer just lost Vader. They are bouncing the fuck out of here.
Oh my god!
And like and then we finish this as like. Mega City 1 Vader like he's versus like learned this world.
Yes.
He's got guns too now.
Yes.
And like it's like him versus Dredd. Like that would be cool.
Fight.
Yeah.
God, I love this. God, yes.
And then like Dredd's like holy shit because like you know like like Dredd has to fall back and then like yeah, you could. This would be a fun one.
You are the law. I am the Senate. No, it's Palpatine's thing. But anyways, God, that.
By the way, I because fellow nerd at Real Super Killers, I did buy Darth Plagueis. Am I saying that right?
Plagueis. Yes.
Plagueis. I started reading it. I plan to read a lot more of it. It's good from what I started. But yeah, I'm excited for this.
All for the thing. All for love. It's all for love.
Oh, also, it starts with Darth Sidious. Mm-hmm. Darth Sidious. Not just real. I thought Darth Plagueis is that. Which one is the one that's from the movies?
That's Sidious.
This is how bad I am at Star
So
Wars.
Darth Sidious is Palpatine. Plagueis was Palpatine's master,
and he killed. It starts with that story.
Okay,
that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
All right.
Because it was just I've been talking about it with something else. It starts with a different perspective. Also, I just got I don't know if I showed this already. World's Finest.
That's
Huntress
cool.
Power Girl, Volume 2.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite cover arts of Power Girl. I just love her when she's like really pissed off. This is the one where I was talking about where it had like what happens when she fights Damien.
Just, like, boots him in the butt.
I was talking about it before, but yeah, this is Den. I just read that too.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we re-roll for next week?
Oh yeah, forgot. Yeah. Doop-a-doop-a-doo.
I rolled an 11.
Okay, I don't have it open yet. Let's see, 11. Oh, you got actually a first place champion. You got Rogue.
Yes.
Who she's going up against? Oh, first time fighter. Megatron. God, I wish this was reversed. It keeps happening when we get the wrong characters.
That's cool though, because that forces us to expose each other's like different source pools. It's kind of
true. I mean, I have a week to to read about Megatron and.
Hey, you get to research his origins. You should tune into that trailer with the guy that's I think Bumblebee, maybe.
Yeah, I thought that too. But I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll look for a powerful version.
Would she be able to absorb his powers? Right?
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean he's a robot, but he's a sentient robot with a soul.
He's a robot
with a spark.
I give him robot immunity, but he's still fighting rogues. So you'd be like you see what happens when she fights Sentinels.
Wow!
Snake Eyes takes down freaking Transformers. They're not that tough. I'm sorry.
No, Megatron.
They are.
Megatron's a beast. He's a beast. But yeah,
I guess I don't know him well enough. Every incarnation of him I've ever seen, Rogue wipes the floor with him in my brain. So that's what I mean. I gotta like figure it out because he's the best of the Transformers.
Right.
I mean the Decepticons.
Right.
So yes,
it's like okay.
Not when you're putting it up against an X-Man.
Right.
You know, like I mean, look at they don't do shit like what we just saw Gambit take down.
Right.
Like,
But he's Megatron. He's cool. He's cool in his own universe.
I'm not.
I know. It's just I see Rogue just thunk. Like I don't even think he would stand out in a mob of other Sentinels or anything. He'd just be like thump, 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 like taking off like 8 heads at once.
Well, which version of Rogue are you going with, by the way?
Yeah, so
I know you can pick.
I haven't figured it out yet. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
I can just go full powerhouse and just mop the floor with Megatron because I know his capabilities, and I
know, but I'm wondering if there's some obscure Megatron where he's in the DC universe and he absorbs the freaking Source.
Okay, you know what you could do?
Megatron.
So the Megatron from the Transformers animated series.
Well, we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah. Sorry. Can't do the show next week. Actually, going to be in Vegas, so we're gonna have to.
We'll talk about it the week after.
Yeah.
Thank you for announcing now. I'll put up something on Twitter so you guys know. I do want to say this kind of cracked me up. What was it?
God, I like the. Can we touch back on the Dread and Vader thing? Because that's cool as fuck. Like, remember how excited we got over the Superman thing? Like, I'm that excited over the Dread Vader thing. Can you imagine like a McFarlane toy of Darth Vader in a Spawn universe? Can you imagine? I can see the toy in my head and how fucking cool it'll be.
Yeah, well, that's what you do with crossovers to make it fun, isn't it? I mean,
right.
Like, we were talking about. That's what I was talking about with our real Superkillers. Was when we were talking about Alien versus Superman and what, I forget the one he posted. It was Mask and Lobo.
Right.
We were talking about this. We were talking about Power Rangers, and so this is an interesting point. He's saying they don't want to make any of the other Power Rangers because there's like tons of Power Rangers that aren't the Mighty Morphin ones.
Right.
The only ones I kind of know, and I'm old as fuck, is the Mighty Morphin ones.
Right.
So they want both me and you to watch it, and we will if it's that team.
Right.
But as soon as you go somebody else, I'm like,
nobody cares.
And he's like. And he's like, but there aren't comics or anything. And I'm like, I get that. It's just, and it's unfortunate. You're probably right. He's probably right. There probably is a gold mine of money to be made in that stuff.
Right.
Because there's a lot of fans.
Right.
It's just, I think they don't necessarily think that way. And they're like, how can this hit as many people as possible?
Right. So what they do is they'll bring in the original cast because they had the Mighty Morphin movie that came out not that long ago that
he's talking about across all media. There's not even comics for that stuff.
Oh.
And he's right. Like when there was a comic, they did it, and this is what made me think about it, because they're talking about the Dread thing. Superman, or it was Justice League versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and it was fantastic. Did you read it?
No.
Oh, it's such a good comic. It's such a good comic.
How does that even stack up? I just feel like Cyborg and Batman can handle that.
No. Listen. So they show up into the universe, right? And then Batman's there, and
Batman's always. I love how Batman's usually like the one who greets people from like the multiverse.
Right. But he's fighting someone like a thug or somebody,
right?
And they see this like evil guy fighting, and then so they all jump in and start fighting Batman, and then he starts raiding the Justice League. He's like, I'm fighting 5 superhumans with accelerated abilities, and he's like da, and he's holding his own against them,
right? And
then then the Justice League start coming in, and then like they're like, oh shit, Megazords, boo doo 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 doo, and then like they show up, and then like they're flying around and stuff, and like it starts getting escalating. Like Green Lantern's there, and like Superman shows up finally, and he's like flying next to like the Pink Ranger, and she's like, guys, she's like, there's a guy, he's just flying. Like, what's he on? And he's like, no, he's just flying. And then and he's like, man, I'm gonna need you to set the pterodactyl down. And like, and it's such a good comic. Like, they lose their powers and they get geared up in each other's universes stuff, and they get like, so it becomes like Justice Power Rangers against like their villains, and they just mix it, and it's such a good fun comic. And that's what I mean. That's the best stories. That's because what we did with the Dread thing. We mixed the universes.
What do you think Vader's primary weapon would be? Like a gun sword from Final Fantasy VIII. Like, you need to have like a saber.
I imagine he would end up looking like the some of the cyborgs.
Yeah.
In the Dread universe.
Yeah.
And so you could probably recreate a lightsaber easily enough.
Yeah.
And then he would have like guns and grenades and shit coming off him, and then and he would look a lot like he did, but just dreadified, like Yeah, it would be dope. But he would also have force power, so now he's like fucking terrifying.
Right.
Like Dread's like ping, 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 and it's like ding, 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 ding. And then he's like, like it would just be so cool. And then they get in close. He's like, and he's like, and he's like, whoa.
See Dread getting on the motorcycle, and then Vader trying to crush him on the motorcycle, but you can't get him because he's fucking Dread. God, fucking love it. Anyways, I should pick up a Hold Nerds. What are we watching? My goodness,
It's your turn. I do have a bunch of Hold Nerds ideas.
Actually, let's do that one that you suggested, the Tarantino one, the Hollywood. Once Upon a Time Hollywood.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
You know one? This actually does tie to kind of what we're watching right now, and it's one I actually wanted you to watch if you're open to it. It was. I'll give you the exact title. Anyone who's watching, it was the X-Men movie. You didn't watch it with the Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix.
It was the more recent one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Dark Phoenix, and it didn't do well. But when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like the action scenes, and it's got some cool elements. Like if you like X-Men, and where it lost it is at the end, because they were making this film and they were planning for the end to be this huge space battle against like a powered up like person, and Phoenix. It was going to be Phoenix against like in space. It was going to be all that shit.
Right.
And then Captain Marvel was coming out, and they heard they were doing that in Captain Marvel, so they didn't do it.
No. Oh, I heard about that.
I know.
Yeah. That's a shame. I know,
but
that's a shame.
It's a shame because you see stuff like
movie.
There's this scene, and it just stands out to me, and it's Magneto on a train, and like, and he's just like throwing the shit away. It's just so cool. It's like exactly how you want Magneto to be. You know what I mean? I highly recommend. It's not the best movie, but if you like X-Men, I recommend checking it out.
Okay.
You want to watch it?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that instead. That's fine.
Okay. All right, I'm excited.
Okay.
I'll watch it first just to double check that I'm talking about the right film. But I'll post it and everything for everybody. I'm pretty sure it is Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
It has to be. Yeah, it is Dark Phoenix. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. What else do we have going on? My goodness gracious.
Oh, let's see.
I know we started late, but I do need to end soon because I am going to brunch.
For sure. Well, we've pretty much covered everything. I got some rants, but those can always wait. Yeah. So let's see. What's our fights for next week again?
Oh, Rogue versus Megatron, and then if you want to go for the Aliens pitches, we can do that when we come back too, if you want, or if you want to give it another week.
Okay, yeah, because we got 2 weeks. Yeah, that's perfect. Yep. So yeah, that's a reminder. We won't be back next week. And then our Behold Nerds will be X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Plus we'll have a couple more episodes of X-Men 97 under our belt. Actually, we'll probably be foaming at the mouth for the finale by the time we come back.
I imagine so. I mean, well, then again, if they do it right, in my opinion, they'll do what we saw in Star. Well, I don't know. They know how to do it. I'm not. Right. I'm shutting up. Shutting up. Yeah. But yeah, and then our pitches are going to be we're going to be doing an Alien movie.
Yes.
So this would be how we do Alien. But yeah, it sounds fun.
Xenomorphs. Yeah, let's wrap it. We for those and everybody who support the channel, like, comment, subscribe. Talk to Mr. Frosty on Twitter. Yeah, let's end the show with a nerdy quote. Take it away, Frost.
I couldn't believe it was her. It was like a dream. But there she was, just as I remembered her. That delicate face, and a body that could melt a cheese sandwich from across the room, and breasts that seemed to say, "Hey, look at these." She was the kind of woman who made you want to drop to your knees and thank God you were a man. She reminded me of my mother, all right. No doubt about it.